Hi souls, welcome to my channel where hobby's gonna die. So as you can see, things are a bit different today because we are going to do the segment Window Shop with me. We're going to be window shopping books that I don't need to add to my TBR but are going on my TBR. So coming on here during the editing process to explain something that I'm having to do during the video. I'm also sick, I'm sorry. You probably could hear that. But during the editing process, I'm putting a bunch of black boxes to conserve my privacy and also to block out the spoilers of the reviews because people really do not block out their spoilers often in the reviews. So you're going to see a bunch of big boxes covering the screen most of the time. I'm sorry about that. I didn't really think that through when I did this video, so I might have to change the way I do these videos in the future. I did show the bookstagrammers. I actually asked every single one of them they want it to be shown on the YouTube video. So back to the video. In this little segment, I want to go through and window shop everything from fashion to furniture to anything I decide to window shop that I can't afford but I still like looking at. And since I am primarily a booktube, I figured the first window shop with me should be books. So I'm going to go through and look at like probably 10 books or whatever. I don't want to sit there and bore you through a bunch of books, and I don't need to end up adding like a bunch of books to my TBR that's already massive. So I think 10 books, maybe I'll shorten it to 5, who knows. But I'm gonna go through and look at, I've got a bunch of posts that I've saved on Bookstagram that I'm going to look at and then look at the books. And I have Goodreads and Amazon open because I like looking at multiple things, and I figured I'd take you along to show you my process in deciding whether or not I want to add it to my TBR. And that first one is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. It was thanks to the Read Rat on Bookstagram. Their review post was a 4-star, and their review really captured my interest, so I figured I'd check it out. So Into the Drowning Deep, which you can't really see the full cover for. I probably should. That's probably a better place for you. Okay. Anyways, so Into the Drowning Deep. I love the cover, the red and the black and white. This is a horror. Looks like there's LGBT represented in this horror. I don't put stock in this, by the way, but if anyone else puts stock in it, like overall it looks to be 4 stars, 3.97. 7 years ago, the Atargatis set off on a voyage to the Mariana Trench to film a mockumentary bringing to life ancient sea creatures of legend. It was lost at sea with all hands. Some have called it a hoax, others have called it a maritime tragedy. Now a new crew has been assembled, but this time they're not out to entertain. Some seek to validate their life's work, some seek the greatest hunt of all, some seek the truth, but for the ambitious young scientist Victoria Stewart, this is a voyage to uncover the fate of the sister she lost. Whatever the truth may be, it will only be found below the waves, but the secrets of the deep come with a price. So I don't remember if I said this, but I'm very big into ocean stuff, so when I realized that this was an ocean horror, I was just like, yeah, count me in. I know what the creature is too because of the review. I mean, the synopsis doesn't seem to say it, so I'm not going to tell you what the creature is, but I thought it was an eldritch horror type of thing because I always think horror and ocean is always some sort of eldritch creature, and maybe I'm wrong in that. Maybe this is still an eldritch creature, but from what I understand it's not, which I thought was also interesting. So the next thing that I look at in order to decide whether or not I'm going to put this book in my TBR is I kind of skim through the reviews first. I don't like read through all of the reviews because sometimes people don't block out their spoilers. You should really block out your spoilers if you're going to do that, but I filtered it to newest first because I'm curious as to, because things can get really hyped up and stuff and I don't want to look at old reviews, so I look at the newest ones. The first newest one is 2 stars. Was not a fan of this at all. Way too long, and most characters were unlikable. How long is this? 448 pages. I mean, it's a pretty hefty book, but it's kind of, my average is 400 pages. 400 to 500 pages, sometimes 300. This person says it is science heavy, so I guess if people are not into the whole technical writing, then there's all that. This person DNF'd it. So it looks like either people are really liking it, 5-star to 4-star, or DNF it or don't like it. This person says there's neurodivergent characters, LGBT and neurodivergent characters, which is cool. If you go check this out, this book, then you're going to see what the creature is, because a lot of reviews do not hide that. I skimmed through the reviews, by the way, in order to see if there's anything major I don't want to deal with, but it doesn't look like there's anything major that I'll have to worry about. But the next thing that I usually do after is read the sample, which the reason why I'm looking at Amazon and Goodreads is because Goodreads used to let you read the preview for the books, and they stopped doing that for some reason. I'm not sure why they stopped doing it, but I have to go over on Amazon in order to read it. If I'm interested in the book, it captures me and anything else. The next thing I need to look at is the author's writing style, which I've already refilmed this, so I've already read the preview of this one. But I'm just showing you the next thing I do. And after reading the preview, I have decided that I want to add this one to my TBR, which I also already did. So there you go. I have 3 monitors. So I have my webcam over here because my mic here was blocking it on this monitor. I've got you looking at this monitor, and I've got my Instagram on the 3rd one. But anyways, the next book that was recommended by Annika Reads Books on Instagram is a dark romance about a criminologist and a criminal, and it's a series. So the first book is Lovely Bad Things by Trisha Wolfe. Okay, there it is. Pretty typical book cover for dark romances. That seems to be the thing these days, is to do like a collage type of spooky thing as the book cover, which I mean I like, but I also know that it's pretty typical for dark romance. I'm not going to read the synopsis for this one because I don't want to cringe through trying to read dark romance synopsis for you. I say cringe, but I still like romance. But I'm not going to read it to you. But the first lines captured my interest. He's the devil and she's his wicked game. I know dark romance isn't for everyone, but I think it's because I like the grittiness of like horror and just dark things and stuff is the reason why I like the taboo dark romance. Now, that being the case, I still like a happy ending when it comes to romance. So despite these people probably being toxic for one another, I'm kind of also hoping that they manage to work it out. But I know some dark romances don't do that. And I'm gonna go down to the reviews and see. Oh Jesus, dare I say this was pretentious and contrived as fuck. Tried too damn hard to do something but did absolutely nothing instead. Someone really disliked this one. Requires an open mind. Interesting. Some of these reviews again are kind of spoilery. This person did a keyboard mashing moment and someone else is saying huh question mark. So again, polarizing to people enjoying it and other people not. It kept me entertained, but I was confused 90% of the time. Interesting. Also, there seems to be a paranormal element to this from what I kind of skimmed. Maybe I'm wrong, who knows. Let's look at it on Amazon. It looks like it's on Kindle Unlimited. Yeah, it is on Kindle Unlimited. If it's on Kindle Unlimited still, I might pick it up just to read. But I want to make sure that the writing style is something I can deal with. So, excuse me, I'm going to read this and see. Okay, so the writing is pretty good. It's pretty stereotypical for dark romances. You know, your typical edgy bad guy who's hot and the other romantic interest drooling over him. I don't know if this is going to be a romance or if it's going to be one of those that they toxic relationship type of things, but I'm interested enough to check it out. So I think I'm going to add it to my TBR. By the way, when I say things are stereotypical for dark romances, there's nothing bad with that. Horror are also very stereotypical. You have your typical tropes. Same thing with anything. You have your typical tropes that are tried and true that are used often, which can get boring for me if I read the same genre over and over and over again. There's a reason why I like mixing and matching, looking at a horror, looking at a dark romance, looking at nonfiction. So I don't get burnt out on a certain genre. So that's not necessarily a bad thing when I say things are stereotypical. I'm just saying that I've seen it before. I'm still going to read it because I'm interested. Okay, so the next book we're going to look at was suggested by more.than.manga on Bookstagram. They gave it 4 stars, and it's a manga called Scarlet Secret by Tomo Serizawa. I probably pronounced that wrong. I'm sorry. It is a Yaoi manga and historical romance. There it is. The artwork really captured my interest, and this is in the wrong language. There we go. I really want to get into manga. The manga books that we have just don't really interest me so much, so I really want to get into it. There is horror manga that I'm also eyeing, but this one is not. This is Yamato. I'm gonna butcher names, I'm sorry. Lost his dear childhood friend Shiki, who was sacrificed during a ritual. His unrequited love became an obsession. He refused to believe that Shiki was dead, and many years later he finally managed to search for him in the sacred palace forbidden to men, where he learned a terrible secret. Shiki was kept alive and made to inherit the superhuman power that will make him the king of the country. Yamato swears to repress his feelings and follow Shiki as his servant, but ... The art style really captured my interest in this, and I've said that already, but let's peek at the... Yeah, there we go. The art style is gorgeous. Perfect art style, distinct plot, confusing and maybe a little bit cliche ending. Folkloric world building, heavy vibes, strong characters, art style again. I'm going to show you the art style real quick on the preview. So let's pop over to Amazon and peek at the sample. There you go. The artwork is pretty good. So that's definitely captured my interest. There's not a whole lot for me to read for manga, just kind of make sure the art style is something that I'm interested in and the story itself. So that's going on my TBR. I think I'm gonna do 5 this time around because I'm also needing to leave here soon. So 2 more books and then I'm gonna end it there. The next book, thanks to estherfungreads, is called Winston Chu. Is this, I think this is a graphic novel? No, it's not. It's a novel. It's definitely like, looks like a YA or a children's book. The book cover is what captured my interest. Winston Chu versus the Whimsies. Is that it? There's also one called versus the Wingmeisters. The duology, but which one's first? Oh no, there we go. Winston Chu first. Okay. So the first book is Winston Chu versus the Whimsies. Oh, it's a middle grade, which I don't mind. 12-year-old Winston Chu is supposed to learn impulse control at the cooking academy his mom enrolled him in. The learning to think before he acts won't happen overnight. While skateboarding home with a pie in hand, Winston inadvertently stops a robbery at Mr. Pang's Whimsies, an oddities shop in Chinatown. As a reward, Mr. Pang invites Winston to choose any item in the store. The strange old man warns Winston to browse carefully, for the first thing Winston touches will be the thing he gets. Before Winston can decide, a magpie flies under a shelf and he impulsively grabs an old broom to sweep it out. Mr. Pang hands him the broom along with the dustpan. 2 for 1, congratulations. Deflated, Winston returns home, determined to put the broom incident behind him, or at least in the closet. But when some of his most beloved possessions go missing, all Winston can think about are the broom and dustpan. Did they somehow take his stuff? And what or who will they dispose of next? It's time to break into Mr. Pang's Whimsies, where clearly there's more going on that meets the far-seen eyeball. It's time to fight magic with magic, and this time Winston better have a plan. Interesting. This is a fantasy. Tagged as mythology too. Urban fantasy, middle grade, retelling. Is there retelling? Oh yeah, there we go. Reimagining of a classic Chinese folktale, which I don't know a whole lot of Chinese folktale. I really want to read about a whole lot of folktale, and maybe this will inspire me to go look at which folktale this is and read it. It doesn't say what folktale this is, so if you know which folktale this is, let me know, because I want to look it up out of curiosity. So this got overall 3.76, but again, I'm not interested in the overall. I will skim this. Feels very 12-year-old boy, tad bit cringy. I mean, it is a middle grade. That's the thing with middle grade. Obviously, you have to read it in a middle grade mindset. This was different from other Chinese mythology books I've read. This is one of those books where everything goes wrong as the plot moves forward. I prefer more world building. Someone DNF'd it. So it looks like, again, you're either loving it or hating it. So let's look at the writing style. The dedication for Bennett and Avalon. This book is not about you, mostly. Okay, so I really like the writing style. I'm interested in the book. Looks like there's only a hardcover in this one. I think I'll be interested to see why people are one-starring this. We'll see how I feel about it. Middle grade can be hit or miss for me. So, but this sounds cute, and I'm curious as to where the story goes. By the way, the beginning part is an author review, basically. I didn't realize it was, and was like, why is the summary of this basically being told? So, as a warning, careful, you're going to see spoilers galore in that author review in the beginning. I don't know if I said the author's name. The author's name is Stacey Lee. This is going good so far. I've looked at a horror, I've looked at a dark romance, and now I've looked at a middle grade book. The last book I'm going to look at for window shopping today is No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. And this is from bookish.gingerjo. They have not read this yet. This is a show-off kind of post and not a review, but the synopsis captured my interest. No One Can Know by Kate. There we go. So this is pretty typical again for horror thrillers. This kind of book cover, but I like the coloration and stuff. Very interesting. Emma hasn't told her husband much about her past. He knows her parents are dead and she hasn't spoken to her sister in years. Then they lose their apartment, her husband gets laid off, and Emma discovers she's pregnant, right as the bank account slips into the red. That's when Emma confesses that she has one more asset, her parents' house, but she owns jointly with her estranged sisters. They can't sell it, but they can live in it. But returning home means that Emma is forced to reveal her secrets to her husband, that the house is not a run-down farmhouse, but a stately mansion, and that her parents died there, were murdered, and that some people say Emma did it. Emma and her sisters have never spoken about what really happens that night. Now her return to the house may lure her sisters back, but it will also crack open family and small-town secrets lots of people don't want revealed. As Emma struggles to reconnect with her old family and hold together her new one, she begins to realize that the things they have left unspoken all these years have put them in danger again. So I like thrillers. I don't read them so often, but I do like thrillers and I like mysteries like this. This sounds like it's going to be a mess of a ride to me. That's the reason why I'm curious about it. Oh look, there's a giveaway. Maybe I should enter the giveaway. Let me look at it first before I decide to do that. The first new review is just meh for 3 stars. Apparently there's never ending secrets. Gets me guessing. Lots of possible suspects, which I like. I like being able to try to solve the mystery while I'm reading it. Another 2-star. Really struggled with this book. Couldn't decide if I wanted to give it 2 or 3 stars. Ultimately decided to vote on 2. It was boring, so boring. Even up until the last 5 pages of the book, you were still trying to figure out what really happened. I can see where that can annoy people. I don't know if that would annoy me or not. I do like a book that just like doesn't tell you until the very end what's going on to kind of like shock you as to what happened. Also, all the men sucked in this book. Okay, let's look at the preview. Okay, the writing is very interesting and the very first few paragraphs really captured my interest, so I'm definitely going to add this to my TBR. Looks like there's only a hardcover, expensive hardcover, so I'm probably not going to pick this up until later. But yeah, I'm definitely going to add this to my TBR. And that being the case, I'm also going to enter the giveaway to see if I actually get it. That'd be nice. I've never actually won one of these giveaways. Has anyone ever won a Goodreads giveaway? Comment down below, what did you win? But yeah, I'm gonna end it there because I've got things I gotta do. I had intended to film for longer, but time got away from me. So, if you like this whole window shop with me, I'm going to do this again with fashion and furniture and more of the books and hopefully longer than this. So if you like it, comment down below. Let me know what you want to window shop with me. For the fashion segment, I want to create a whole outfit to challenge myself, a whole outfit with just one website, and do other kind of challenges like that. So if you have a challenge idea for window shop with me, also comment down below. But I will see you next Wednesday. Until then, bye souls.